All right, here we go. Just getting the stream started here, so just give me a little bit of time. Get things ready here. And hold on one second. You know what? Give me 1 second here. I'm going to get my laptop, so give me a quick moment. All right, sorry about that. I just needed to get my laptop here. Give me a quick moment. Just quick moment here, and I will get my laptop set up. Give everyone just some time to log in. And if someone out there could give me a sound check, I do have the stream up. I'm just getting my second device plugged in here. All right. All right, cool. All right. Here we go. All right, much better now. All right, so if anyone out there could give me a quick sound check, I am totally set up now. All right, let's see here. All right, here we go. All right. All right. Someone out there give me a quick... All right, so sound is great. All right, thanks, Wigbusta. All right, let me just close up a few things real quick here. Sorry about that. I didn't want my Tarkov game to show up. But yeah, I got a few things I wanted to go over with right now, and let's see what we got. All right, so some of the things that I was tackling, I was going to do a standalone video on this. And, you know, I thought to myself, it kind of ties into everything we're talking about right now with, you know, Biden doing his thing out there with the executive order. We got the Fed CBDC. We've got Stellar, and this is what I wanted to share with you all right now. You got Stellar that released their Understanding CBDCs, a guidebook for regulators and policymakers. This is Stellar's way of saying, hey, this is why CBDCs are good. This is why we should use this technology. Really neat stuff here, all right? So anyways, long story short, as I'm going through all of this, I'm seeing that on January 19th, that is when Stellar released this guidebook for regulators and policymakers, all right? So then I started looking over here, and I just started kind of going through the Fed and stuff like that. This was the Fed's paper done in January, all right? And anyways, they were all released really close around the same amount of time. So as I'm just kind of going through all this stuff, I was just looking to see just what everyone's thoughts were regarding CBDCs, all right? Because you've got the Fed that's kind of dragging their feet, all right? And that's kind of the problem right now, is the Fed's dragging their feet. You've got Stellar over here saying, hey, look, we've been working with, you know, previous administrations, current administrations, what's going on here? And that's what I'm saying is we're definitely seeing the federal government dragging their feet. And I wanted to get everyone involved with this because, you know, we're also going to go over to Twitter here. All right, so let's go to Twitter. All right, let's see here. So let's go to Twitter right now, and let's go to Twitter home. All right, find all my fun stuff here. All right, so anyways, looking at Twitter too, I mean, Stellar's even talking about it. You've got Danelle Dixon. Let me see if I can get her up here really quick. All right. Danelle Dixon's tweeting about CBDCs. All right. So, I mean, you're seeing more and more people out there talking about this, and yet the United States government is just dragging their feet. And here's her response to the Fed's letter, all right? Because the Fed report is out there, all right? You can look it up. I've got it up here. money and payments, the US dollar in the age of digital transformation. Anyways, looking at that now, and sorry about that, guys. I just trying to get everything lined up here. Yeah, you got Denell Dixon saying the long-awaited Federal Reserve CBDC discussion paper is out. First reaction, I had hoped this would be more of a jump forward for CBDC development in the US, but it has us circling back at square one. And that's part of the things that are bugging me here is that this is, and what's up, Bo Rabbit chiming in. Elia Israel says, sounds great. Thank you. Wigbusta, I know the sound is good. Miguel Santos chiming in saying the sounds great. But yeah, I guess this is what I'm looking at right here is I'm looking at the US really dragging their feet regarding this whole concept right now of, you know, CBDCs. I mean, the government's dragging their feet. And so when the government drags their feet, right, you're just adding another hotspot to countries out there that are just, and again, this isn't necessarily anti-crypto. This is just typical politics in the US where they're just going to push this out longer and longer and longer. And anyone out there, right? I mean, all of us know this. We talk about this channel all the time. When you delay something in time, what are you doing? You're making things cost more money, right? Think of like probate lawyers, think of any court, think of any trials, think of XRP and Ripple, right? I mean, XRP Ripple. And what's up, Stefan? How's it going? I mean, think of XRP and Ripple though, right? Same thing. That's just costing people money and what's getting done. Nothing's really getting done right now. So as I'm looking at this, I'm just seeing that all of this is just causing a lot of money, a lot of fuss, and just a lot of crap, all right? And the big topics I wanted to cover was more countries banning crypto, Biden's executive order. Give me a second here. Biden's executive order and, you know, global turmoil taking focus away. I know a lot of you out there, right? And I'll be honest, all right? So for those watching right now, I'll be honest. I've avoided a lot of talking about the Ukraine. I've really avoided that a lot. And I know a lot of you, you're interested into it and for several reasons. And what's up, Mapparatus? How's it going? But I've totally avoided really talking about Ukraine on like a bigger scale, okay? But I think we have to start discussing some of the ramifications this has also on crypto moving forward, okay? Because there's ramifications right now on, and the biggest one is obviously, you know, human life and suffering and stuff like that over there. And just the idea of what's going on, right? That's just obviously number 1, 2, and 3. But when we start looking at what can happen in terms of stifling technology, you got to remember the Ukraine, right, is huge in terms of, you know, their CBDC project was stellar. The Ukraine is huge, all right, in, what do you call it? It's huge in its overall crypto developing. I mean, there's a lot of technology, especially crypto-wise, that comes out of the Ukraine, all right? And let's put up a world map here just so we can always draw this kind of stuff. It's always kind of fun to do this. All right, so let's just go on here. We'll go on this picture super fast. No, I hate the picture of that one. So yeah, let me know what are some of the thoughts that has you guys wondering what's going on. I mean, are you guys concerned as well with this crypto stuff? I mean, is that something that's bugging you as well? I mean, I'm kind of wondering about it because I mean, you're obviously not seeing a de-escalation, right, in terms of what's going on with the Ukraine. I mean, you're definitely not seeing that at all. So yeah, I mean that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the U.S. dragging their feet. I don't know. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. Wigbusta chimes in saying, I believe it's already been done. The news coming out is a smokescreen. Imagine if they said, hey, it's going to go, everything is going to go live, and the mass would flood crypto. And trust me, like I get the idea of like, hey, if you flip the switch, like everything would go on. But it would be the same thing. Like, what if we were to flip the switch, say, on like EV vehicles, right? What if I go out there and I tell you right now, guess what? EV 2025. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care how much money you have. You'll never get EV all over the place. You'll never be able to make that just a one and only thing. You won't see switches switches flipped like that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of something we have to think about. So Wigbuster, I get what you're saying, but it's almost like not only do they want to do it in phases, but some of the turmoil that's happening, okay? Some of the turmoil that we have that's happening up on the screen, right? Up here in the Ukraine. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that is a huge deal, all right? I mean, I don't know, that's very stifling. You know what I mean? That is very, very stifling. And let's do this. Let's go here, and yeah, now we could use a big marker. All right, cool. I like that better. So that's kind of part of my concern, right? I mean, am I worried, you know, about you know, Russia? Oops, sorry, let me get back to my pen real quick here. Just still learning how to use all this stuff. But am I still worried about Russia? Yeah. Am I still worried about China? Yeah. I mean, India, yeah, I get it. Burma, yeah, I understand. Western Africa, yeah, I get it. All right. But you got countries over here that are big into it. You've got a whole bunch of countries in Europe that are really into it. We already know that that Canada, right? That Canada is big into it. So yeah, it's just making me wonder what's kind of going on. So let's see. So Trigger Bandit says, good day at work, but I'm listening. Thank you, Trigger Bandit, for hanging out with us. Just an impromptu live stream. I just kind of wanted to get everyone out there talking, because we're talking about crypto. We're talking about CBDCs. I mean, we're talking about a whole bunch of different topics out there. We got more countries banning crypto. Biden's executive order. That's another thing I want to touch on, is the timing of Biden's executive order. I really want to get on that and get on a good discussion with everyone regarding that. Let's see. So Trigger Bandit said, I'm sorry, Stefan Andre says, made my day. Yes, sir. Wigbuster says, Ukraine is where the cabal are located. There's been lots of ties to the Ukraine. Money, digital technology, a whole bunch of ties. And just so that you guys can see how awesome of a channel this is, the channel did, give me 1 second here, the channel did buy an NFT, and I don't know if any of you guys caught it, but the channel did buy an NFT, and here you go. All right, there we go. Janet Yellen, the Grinch, ruining Christmas in crypto for everyone. All right, rock on. All right, so let's see, back to the comments here. Meparata says, I feel like Biden is going to restrict access to crypto with crypto laws, then reserve in a few months in order for institutions to get in cheap and in our back. You know, the thing is Meparata, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about too, okay? When I'm talking about, you know, what's going to happen with Biden's executive order, I'm thinking he doesn't want to overstep the SEC, right? Because to be honest with you, if you're going to enact some sort of order, you're gonna have to like really like vet this through the courts, because you know the first thing that does not look legit, they are gonna boom hold that thing up in the courts. You're seeing it with COVID mandates. You're seeing it with travel restrictions. Look what's happening in England right now for my fans across the pond. Right? Boris is in trouble because he's breaking rules for thee and not for me. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's all of this is kind of coming together, and all of this is kind of tying into what, you know, what this whole big picture, this kind of, and it's for me, it's not a bear market, okay? But for me, part of what the problem is, though, is that we still have lots of these places here, okay? Lots of these places here where we have turmoil that's going on, where we do have things that are going on that are bad for the globe in general, right? I mean, we know what's happening over here. I mean, those are some big problems. And we got Bahala now chiming in saying, what's up, y'all? What's up to you? And I gotta love it. I love the face, all right? Love the face and Bahala's name. I love that. Big fan, big fan out there. Maparta says, Stephen Andre, it's always like that. One last dump so everyone thinks we're done, then sideways for months and massive pump after. And Jimbo Tango chiming in, let's go, Brandon. I'll give a let's go, Brandon. Thank you, Jimbo. How's it going? How are you doing out there? And that's part of what we are talking about right now. And that's part of what my biggest concern is what is going to happen with Brandon. Check it out, guys. What is going to happen? And here is part of my concern with Brandon, all right, is this point right here. Is it going to be done in February, or is it going to be delayed? And that was a territory map, Meparatus. All right, that was a territory map. So yeah, South Canada is a country in the territory map. So pretty legit map. I'm glad you caught that. All right, glad you caught that. You totally get points in my book for that one. And Maparatus says, or else Biden is going to restrict access to shitcoins that have no utility, and ISO are going to pump hard. And Darren Burke chiming in, yes, the UK. Yes, Darren, that's part of the problem too. Boris is in deep trouble politically now. The police are going after Boris for criminal charges. That is huge. That is huge. I mean, I'm telling you right now, that is really, really big out there. So Darren, yeah, I mean, that's a big one. We're finding that we have a lot of political stuff, all right? A lot of political stuff that is slowing us down. Miri G021, I want to get to this one right away. Says, did you hear about Stellar working on introducing proof of work? No, I did not hear or read that. I swear, it is so hard keeping up on everything. If you did, let me know. That would be interesting, but still. Let's see. But it's kind of, I don't really see them doing proof of work, but, you know, just saying. Diego says, hello, good evening to everyone. Hello, Diego, how's it going? Space Ranger and Beyond says, MLXXLM, period. Biden is playing stupid, following a stupid narrative for less than smarter people. Patriotist says, CIA made Biden to win, Trump had more votes. So obviously we're getting very political here, but politics can cost us money. All right. And Stefan, I'm with you on that too. Politics can cost you money. All right. But what about if they don't get it done in February or they delay it even further? What if they delay it to March? I mean, think about this, right? Let's just imagine you're running a crypto project out there. Let's imagine you have a sizable amount to put into crypto, okay? If you know that the Biden administration is going to enact, all right, an executive order, and just think of what that does. In the United, okay, for my European fans out there, fans outside the United States, fans South America, Canada, all right, people unfamiliar with U.S. politics, all right, an executive order bypasses the people in Congress altogether. It has nothing to do with what's best for the people. All it has to do is with just boom, initiating action X, all right? That is all it is, all right? It doesn't get debated, nothing like that, okay? So what happens is with these executive orders, we've seen overreaches in power, and we've seen overreaches in power very, very quickly, all right? And the thing is, though, is with these executive orders, right? If you think there's going to be an overreach of power, if you think there's going to be a correction, or hey, they're going to see, if they're going to see what it looks like, okay, you know, with CBDCs, or, you know, maybe they go on stable coins. You know, that could be the other thing the Biden administration could do. They could say, hey, you know, stable coins. I mean, that'd be pretty interesting. So anyways, yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. And we got Patriotist says, I'm not American, I'm from Finland. But yeah, so the executive orders, honestly, right, it can bypass people. It does bypass people. It does bypass Congress. And it just goes right to, boom, action, all right? But now if you delay, let's say delay, all right? If you delay it, all right, that's the big thing. If you delay it, that costs people more money. I mean, think about it. How do you think, like, anyone right now that is building a legit project on the blockchain, that let's say they want to launch it in the next 2 weeks. They were like, yeah, I want to launch it in February. I wanted to launch it at the end of January. You're going to be like, well, wait a minute. Before I just put millions and millions and millions into a project that might get held up, let me at least see what these executive orders are. And then if I need to, hey, I'll just change my plan after, which is totally cool. You know what I mean? Which is totally cool. I mean, all right, you know, but do you see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I wonder about. I think the delay can be extremely bad too. Think about it. Anytime you delay action on something like, you know, war-related, finance-related, people suffering, horrible, like just horrific events, any sort of grand action like that, all right, that's a delay, just even if, no matter what the outcome, even if you're pro or against, you know, what the policy is, a delay of any policy is just horrible. It is just horrible, and it costs you a lot of money. Tons and tons of money. Let's see. So Android chimes in. Hey, buddy, have you seen the Q4 report from Stellar? No, I have not seen that. Bahala says, what about Trump's executive order regarding XRP? If you could fill me in exactly on that executive order. Felix J says, would the guy who banned monoclonal antibody therapeutics in Florida ban crypto trading in the entire country? Unconscionable, but yeah. And I think that's kind of part of what I'm like, that's what kind of makes me wonder here. And I said, I'm not talking about this in politics. This is just the concept of an executive order, okay? And the reason, think about this, you would do an executive order to bypass Congress, to ignore politics, to bypass, like, quote, the word of the people, to just get something enacted. that saves people, that saves the country, right? Think of wartime inactions, right? You don't want it held up in Congress debating it for 3 weeks when we need to do something now. I mean, just any of those actions, all right? So it's really important, right? If this executive order here, all right, how far does it reach? Does it reach in February or does it delay the market? So let me know your thoughts on this, right? How do you feel? Do you think they're going to knock it out in February? I mean, and what's going to happen with the crypto markets as a whole? All right. I mean, let's bring that up to be fair here. All right. So let's look at crypto markets as a whole. You guys know I'm going to have Stellar up on the screen. And let's do this. Let's go back to over the last 5 days, because as you can see that they've all been trading the same over the last 5 days. I mean, these are dramatically different tokens, right? Coins, whatever the hell you want to call them. All right. Let me just get my red box out of the way here. These are dramatically different. I've got Bitcoin, I've got XLM, I got XLM in purple, Mana in blue, XRP in green. I mean, and look, they've all traded. And let's do this. Let's just add Bitcoin real quick here. We will make Bitcoin. What the hell color do we make Bitcoin? Let's make it a color that I've not been a fan of. We'll make it red. How about that? And that's Bitcoin. So, I mean, you can see they've all been trading here really closely, and especially lately, right? The more we zoom in, the tighter they've been, the tighter their patterns have been. So again, just another thing to look at, but it is the big thing I'm wondering about is this executive order right here. What's going to happen? I mean, seriously, what is going to happen? Back to the comments, Wigbuster says in, what if the executive order is to shut down the SEC? The thing is, I don't see him shutting down the SEC. My thing with the executive order makes me wonder if it's something like to grant the IRS more power. All right. It makes me wonder if it's more around taxes. And that's because a lot of the writings out there have been tax-based. All right. A lot of the writing has been tax-based. All right. A lot of the stuff we've seen guidance-wise has looked as crypto as an asset. So once you off-ramp it, they want you to treat it like property. Once you sell it, you better report those gains. All right. And so, I mean, I could see an executive order touting around the idea of giving, giving the IRS more power. Emergency hire of X number of people to help with this. I could see that, because think they have to pay for all the programs we're going through right now. So what better way to do it than start taxing the heck out of crypto, right? I mean, that's just happening in their backyard. They were taxing it. Here's a perfect example out there, all right, for everyone out there watching, right? 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, if you lived in the United States, and hello to everyone out there. If you got questions, hit me up in the comments. But seriously, think about this. 5-7 years ago, if you lived in the United States and you bought products online, all right, you bought products online, guess what? You didn't pay sales tax on it. You didn't, all right? That's stuff that you're seeing that's enacted in now the last year and a half, sometimes 2, depending on the vendor. Some vendors started early, and some just started on the last day to making it mandatory. But think about that. The internet itself was transacting and not paying taxes, right? I was buying products, like when I lived in South Dakota, I was buying products, out from Florida. I was buying products from New York all the time, having it shipped out to South Dakota because our stores were limited there, right? And so that's the big thing. I mean, it's we've seen it. And so when they said, hey, we're going to start taxing internet transactions, we were all pissed, right? All of us out there were pissed. Give me a second here. All of us out there were pissed, And do me a favor, if you like the content, hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. That helps us out, and share this with other people that are out there too. But think about that. I was bummed because I was like, well, hey, wait a minute. They shouldn't be taxing any of my stuff, any of my purchases from online. I don't want the government taxing that. I'm purchasing that online. That's not the government's. You know what I mean? And so now I'm looking at it thinking, well, wait a minute. Now I get it. Because you know what? Like if I make a purchase or a sale from someone local, I would want it going back to my local economy. You know what I mean? I really love where I live now. So for me, like if I knew there was a vendor out there and they were thwarting like the tax system and it could really, really help like my kids' education, roads quality, stuff like that. It's cool. It's totally cool. And yeah, don't worry about it, Mary G. Smart contracts. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that was something we talked about. But yeah, so that's kind of my thing. So when that whole technology and concept happened where they were like, hey, let's tax internet orders here in the States, I was totally against it, but now I understand why. So the executive order, getting back to that, sorry, right, let's talk about roundabout. Executive order, I could see that going after taxes, giving the IRS more power to launch and hit it. I could really, really see that, right? And I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and let's get back to some of those comments. Let's see. Courtney Johnson says, what's your opinion on the... Oh, sorry, you guys are commenting, and let me go back to read that. And oh, baby, I like it raw. I'm going to get your comment. I want to talk to you about markets and forward real quick. Courtney Johnson says, what's your opinion on the Aboriginal DeFi patent and vary? Are you bullish? I cannot tell you enough about that, or I can tell you that I don't know enough about that to make an opinion. And if that's something I like everyone to know on this channel, if there's something that I don't know enough of, I will not even talk about it in the slightest bit, because I do not want to mislead people with anything. Hassan Norai says, during the time of fear, buy. Beside, next election is November 5th, 2025, and laws will change. Yeah, and tax laws change in the States all the time. Tax laws change, all the time in the United States. Space Ranger says, how come nobody else can see that XLM has been in the shadows for at least 40 years? I think it's the technology that we've been worried about, right? I think that's been the big thing, is the technology. And Space Ranger saying, y'all should hit the like button. I appreciate that, Space Ranger. Thank you. Miri G says, sorry, I was wrong. It's not that they are working on proof of work. It's smart contracts. Yeah, smart contracts are huge, because those of us that are working on the NFT project, I got a bunch of us emailing out there. I got a bunch of us creating NFTs on Litemint, and we're actually selling the art with the NFTs, right? So it's pretty interesting about that stuff. And that smart contracts would be a perfect addition for that. Oh, baby, I like it raw says, markets are forward looking, and we're going to talk about that. All right. We're going to talk about markets in being forward looking. All right. Let's do that. All right. Let's do that. And let's open up Bitcoin real quick. Okay. So let's do that. Let's talk about markets being forward looking. All right. And let's move my back over this way. Let me draw it out to measure the hit correctly. All right. So let's do that. Oh, baby, I like it raw says, well, and Courtney, the reason I don't know about the biggest news in crypto is because I do other things in my life. Like I play with my dogs and my kids, and I pick them up from school, and I hike in the mountains, and I try to be a good husband, and I go out with my wife. So yeah, that's why. It's because I'm not always burying my heads in that. So you got to make sure you detach too. Got to make sure you detach. It is very healthy for you. Ben R, what's up, Ben? How are you doing? But anyways, yeah, so oh baby, I like it raw. It talks about the markets being forward looking, right? And we know that, okay? When you start looking at some of these items out here in the markets, okay? And, we always talk about the stock markets being very forward looking, right? Like the stock market goes, you know what I mean? Goes way, way out there. Put it that way, okay? So the stock market is forward looking. How forward-looking is the crypto market? So are the prices in crypto right now, okay? Are the prices in crypto right now reflecting the current market in crypto? Or are they keeping track of 3 months from now what their thoughts are? 6 months, a year? When we look at stocks, right? When we look at stocks, a lot of times we're saying, hey, these we're talking 6 months, a year out, 2 years out on some of these things. I mean, look at the Tesla run up, right? Everyone knows it. The Tesla run up, people were running the price up on Tesla looking at like 2-3 years out. I mean, and Jay Martyr, it is illegal for me to have a life. I'm so sorry. I have not, drawn myself in blockchain. And Bahala, same thing. Nobody can keep track of everything. Yeah, I must suck. I mean, if I miss a story, like I must really suck, man. So I'll make sure that I let my kids, dogs, wife, I'll make sure I'll make sure I let them know. But that's my whole thing. So when we look at the stock market, right? We've seen sectors price things out 6 months, a year, 2 years, and so forth, right? Like the EV market is priced way far out. The EV market, right? What you're paying for EV stocks right now is not what the company is really worth right now. It's kind of what their future projection is in 2-3 years once their plants get built and so forth. So now I start asking you all out there, what is crypto pricing at? right? If we know, right, if we start comparing stuff, like Bitcoin and all that, you guys seen the charts on the screen, okay? If we start comparing and adding Bitcoin to all this, all right, I mean, is crypto pricing stuff right now? Is crypto pricing stuff 6 months out from now, a year from now? I'm kind of curious on that. And I'm very curious about what you think, because obviously, don't get me wrong, every market is very reactionary. All right. So like, do we look at this now and do we go, hey, the run up we had last year in 2021 was everyone being excited. And what we saw in the second half of 2021 was the governments and all that coming in and people knowing that the governments and other things were going to be banned. There was going to be energy concerns regarding crypto, thievery, stuff like that, right? I mean, tons of stuff we've talked about it on this channel. So, I mean, you guys let me know, what are your thoughts, right? I mean, and that's kind of what I'm looking at too. And you got Darren chiming in saying crypto is mirroring the NASDAQ. And that's the whole thing. Like, I get it, it's as a technology play, but how far out are we doing this? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my idea here. Is how far ahead are we pricing all this news in? Because think about this. When Stellar was launching news, all right, and let's get back to Stellar because that's what a lot of us here are for. When Stellar was pricing in the news around here, right, with all the MoneyGram projects and all that stuff, it wasn't doing much to it. And oh baby, I like it raw, 110%. Besides the fact that you have the best name out there, you are extremely correct. No clarity equals sideways. And what does sideways do? And we talked about that, and we've got that up on the board right here, is what does, right, delaying things do? If they delay it, it costs us money right here. That is the big problem. Delaying anything costs you money. Build a house. What's up, Barno? How's it going? But think about it. Build a house. Build a race car. Build a drag car. All right? Waiting for parts. That's a delay. That costs you money. All of this stuff, all right? All of this stuff. I mean, in Courtney, like, okay, so I'm not going to end the live stream right now. And I am not, yeah, like, I get it. Okay, cool. So if that's what you want to do, Courtney, you are welcome to not watch the live stream. How about that? I'll exchange it to you that way. So instead of you saying I should not keep doing the live stream, how about you just like not go on the live stream? How about that? I like that. But that's my idea, right? So if we're done in February, right, with that executive order, if there's a delay, the delay costs us money. I mean, the delay costs us money, and that is huge. So again, oh baby, I like it raw said it best this way. Sideways action right now. Sideways action right now is because of a lack of clarity. There has been no leader in the market. And there's been no sector leading the market. Gold can't break rallies. None of the other precious metals can do it either. And these are hedges against inflation, and we're fighting the biggest inflation out there. And again, hello to you too, Barno. And let's see. Stefan Andre says, we are not pricing ahead at all. It won't happen before coin starts to decouple from Bitcoin. So Stefan is saying, and Steven's saying is that what we're pricing in right now is live, it's local, right? So like if China comes out and gives us, hey, we're banning Bitcoin, boom, the hammer drops, right? So, and I get that. You're right, because until things detach, how do you kind of tell the separation, right? For those of you that were watching the stream earlier, I had XLM, I had Decentraland, I had Bitcoin, I had XRP up there, and they all look the same. Like they all look the same. So there is no market leader. So maybe we are trading right now. That's a really good point. Space Trader and Beyond says, Independence Day, the movie tells all of us this. XRP is the mothership. It blows up, turns XLM to 824. You don't have to believe me, just look closer. Nobody believes me. SEC delay says everything. We voted for the other guy as well. Let's see. Jay Martyr says, I know about the DeFi patent. It is huge news. He got a patent in the US, and I believe he said Japan. But we're talking about ISO 20022 pimping. Yeah, and that is. I'm talking ISO stuff. You know what I mean? And Elia Israel says they want the masses to give up their very valuable assets. And that's why I talked about putting the assets on the chain. All right, that is my big thing. Putting assets on the chain. Jay Dunn chimes in with something that I'm also extremely excited to talk about. Jay Dunn, and I like, good comment here. Crypto won't be as volatile as it has been in the past when XRP and XLM start doing trillions of dollars. Banks don't take time off to have a bearish market. You know, the thing is too, is that with crypto with volatility, don't get me wrong, it was fun to see all these gains happen here, but come on, this wasn't sustainable. Look at the amount of volume in here. This was not sustainable. There was so much fiat dumped into this. I mean, so much dumped into this. So much, and this is across the world. This is the United States, Canada, Europe, everywhere. I mean, fiat was being pumped into so many systems, and it found its way into the stock market. People wanted hope. They wanted a chance. They were like, hey, maybe I can make a bunch of money for myself hitting the right stock, the right coin. I mean, the volume here speaks for itself. And you could see when things really calm down. When things really calm down, the volume just has been blah. It has. It's been very, very sideways. And Barno is chiming in saying, all my buddies are selling PlayStations and bike electrical scooters, all coming to Stellar. We got time sideways until regulation. I totally agree. Booming after big time. How are you? I'm pumped, excited, fearless. And Wigbuster said, sold my left leg for XLM. So no, Barno and Wigbuster are both big into the Stellar ecosystem, and they both do it in two different ways, and it's really, really cool. And I've enjoyed talking to both of these people just extensively. It's been a lot of fun. But what's neat about this, all right, and Barno, I like, this is kind of thing. The longer we have these delays, the more we're talking about global turmoil, all right? The more we're talking about these executive orders, the more countries that are banning crypto, the more we're talking about that, all that's doing is causing this window here, all right? And let's kind of zoom out. This window here just to start going this way. That's all we're doing. I do not see how we're going to break anything crazy until we start getting way more clarity on global turmoil. All right. More countries banning crypto and Biden's executive order, because we don't even know when the executive order is going to be. They said they hope to get it done in February, but we're not sure yet. We're not sure. All right. Sorry about that. Valdir Demora says, biggest bag is still XLM, sitting strong on 150,000 Stellar. I know it's going to pay off a lot. Just sit tight and wait. And that's the whole idea. Since this isn't regulated yet, there's going to be more volatility, period. Okay? I watched a really cool news, I don't want to say a news program, but it was a pretty neat program, and basically this guy was looking at a house and he said, can you tell me why the house right here, these two houses are identical? This one house here sells for $300,000, and then a week or two later, the house right next door, which is exactly the same, sells for $200,000. And he said, we couldn't justify that in the real estate world. He goes, so how are we justifying it in the crypto world? And that really kind of blew my mind, because, you know, it depends again on where your entry point is, right? I mean, if you got down in here at 20 cents, right? You were doing pretty good when we were in the 40s. You were doubling your money for a while. You know, and then obviously now you're back down to neutral. I mean, and that's kind of the idea, is the entry point now is the best we have seen since the bad, and it's actually better since the bad bear time. I mean, we're looking at getting prices now back to November 19th. You know, November 20th. Just look at the prices there. All right, November 23rd, Stellar had a high of 19,650, darn near close to where we're at now. 14 months or so. That's a pretty good point. 14 months. I mean, so yeah, just really interesting. You know, if we don't get clarity on a lot of the stuff, this pushes the window out. What okay, we talk about pushing the window out. Specifically in the United States, what if we push it out to the election? There would definitely start being some concern, wouldn't there? Right? If because of politics, no one wanted to take a stand on it, you could see crypto prices push out even further. I mean, we have, I mean, seriously, the delay, it doesn't matter what your policy is, okay? It does not matter. Because once a policy is made, you know what happens. A, the lawyers always fight it. And B, people find ways around it. Any tax law, any tax code, anything like that, right? Any sort of government action around the world. Once they enact it, you always have people that want to find ways to break it and find people that want to go with it. Same thing that'll happen here. But delaying it, you don't know what to do. Delaying it, you don't know where to put your money. So I could easily see a pullback of the market volume-wise in equities, in crypto. I could see it obviously more in crypto than equities. And that's just my personal opinion, all right? Totally my personal opinion. Because I could see people saying, hey, look, equities are at least regulated. They're going to want to put their money somewhere, right? If all of a sudden the crypto market really starts cooling down because we're waiting for this big ball of regulation across the globe, then what? I mean, that's kind of the thing. And not that the U.S. rules the market, all right? And I'm not trying to be, but I'm saying for some of these coins that are tied heavily, all right, to the dollar, I mean, that's big. It's big. Let's see. Barno said, or Diego says, and I'm sorry, Bahala, my bad on that. My two poodles of springs have been pumping my stack. Diego says, what will happen if, let me make sure I get that right. Diego says, what will happen if XRP end up as a security? Will this change anything for XLM? I could see them using precedent, XRP precedent, and that's XRP precedent to apply to any market. People are going to look at XLM and XRP and especially Congress. Let's just seriously, let's just be real here. If Congress, all right, and I'm just going to do this because it's cool. So Janet Yellen, and we did this on stream the other night. There you go. The Grinch. So Congress, all right. I mean, if we start looking about that, yeah, I do. I think it's big. And sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with the comments out here. But yeah, if it's regulated as security, you could see that, and you could see that law being set for precedent. Because what other precedent do you have? XRP case is only going to be your big precedent like that, especially related to selling direct securities, right? Barno says, I would anticipate days or weeks before regulations that Stellar and XRP could pump because of rumors. I totally think so too. And Bahala, yeah, probably. Meparata says, I think we'll test the 16-cent reloads. I could see that happening before a pump that will come out of nowhere. Think Bitcoin had a test real low. I could easily see Bitcoin tracing in the low 20,000s. I could easily see Bitcoin tracing in at low 20,000s before people are like, you know, it did hit 65, 66 before. We could triple our money. Like, you know, people are doing that because they didn't want to get in when it was at 40 because they thought it was too much. There was a lot of people. And as the price of Bitcoin grew, because we know Bitcoin pulls the market, as the prices of Bitcoin grew, people talked about buying less more because they're like, whoa, is there a bubble? Is there a bubble? Are we freaking out here? Let's see. Valdir Demora says, the facts that we're all there, partnerships are huge. We're heading to the fourth industrial revolution. Yes, we are. The digital revolution. Jay Martyr says, Wigbuster said he sold his left leg for XLM. I'm not going to tell you the left side thing I sold. It was a little bit more intimate. Very well said. Very well said. We get your point without you getting too graphic. Well done. Well done. Trigger Bandit says, I think because of politics, it will be happen before the vote. That's the other thing too, right? I mean, it's because with the vote going on, all right, a bunch could happen. I mean, that could also be the leverage too, because that's a lot of youth. A lot of youth in the United States are very pro-crypto. That could be a very powerful tool come election season, all right? And for any countries out there, the youth are very pro-crypto. Let's see. Diego says, U.S. influences the market big time. And it's true. There is. The U.S. influences the market, and the U.S. has been pumping so much fiat in the market that's where you can funnel it easily. You can easily funnel it. Let's see. So Meparata says, I'm so glad to be in XLM during this dump because we at least know that our coin is massively undervalued, unlike Sol, Matic that are still 100% of the green for the year. Yeah, XLM has been a laggard. You guys know that. But I also believe it has the biggest upside based on all their partnerships that they've had. Diego is loving the picture, I'm assuming. Let's see. Darren's chiming in. Is it just better to buy the crypto, believe in, and walk away for 10 years, ignore the day-to-day noise? Darren, God's honest truth. I unplugged yesterday. I worked on my truck all yesterday. I did not. As soon as I woke up in the morning, I didn't even check my phone till like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Like, seriously, like I knew where my kids were. You know, I knew where my dogs were. I just worked on my truck all day. So, I mean, even for me, like I cover crypto all the time. And I mean, I put hours and hours and hours in a day. Like I really do. I put tons of time into this, not just live streaming, but like researching and hitting you guys up with comments and replying to all the comments. Cause I really do. You guys see that. I try to reply to comments and trying to learn how to use cool tech like this, you know, like all the drawing on the screen and stuff like that, right? Like the NFTs and it just all the research. It's a lot of time. So yeah, getting back, you know, to what Darren says, is it better to just buy the crypto and believe and you walk away for 10 years, ignore the day-to-day noise? I still think you got to be plugged in, but you got to make sure you step back, right? Like if your goal is really to hold it for 10 years, yeah, you don't want to miss out on any blow up of action. But if a blow up of action happens, dude, you know people are going to let you know. Right, you're going to hear it in the news, right? If all of a sudden XLM blows up, seriously, your Twitter, you know, your Snapchat, all that is going to frickin' light up. It's not like you're going to be able to walk around the world with your head in the sand. So no, Darren, totally smart. Darren, that's the other thing. I love hiking. I love going in the middle of effing nowhere. I mean, like 14,000 feet high in Colorado. I love that kind of stuff. You have to. It is very healthy to get away. Let's see. JW says, have you done any info on Project Genesis? I have been doing info on Project Genesis, and just give me 1 second. I got to make a note quick before I forget. Project Genesis and MetaX. I've been researching both. Don't want to say anything now because, like I said, until I research everything, I don't like talking about stuff. But yes, I have. Let's see. Back to the comments here. Steven says, for me, this is a 5 to 10 year investment. If moving money is a nail, then the legacy system is a toothbrush and XLM is a hammer. Yeah, it's true. The legacy system is just not able to keep up with what we're dealing with. All right. It cannot keep up with it. All right. I mean, that is a big problem. It is. That's a huge problem. Right. I mean, the legacy system definitely can't keep up with it. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? What are some big things that you want to talk about right now? What are some topics that are on your minds? Are you guys worried about the Ukraine? I mean, you guys tell me, right? Are you guys worried about the Ukraine? Is that something that is seriously of a concern out there? Right? And yes, look, South Canada, do you guys like that? And look, see, here's Quebec. That's how you can tell how old of a map this is. But like, are you guys worried about the Ukraine? I mean, like, how much of that, you know? And back to the comments. Steven says, we're humans. We always tend to choose the easiest path. It'll happen. Politics doesn't matter. It is human nature. It is definitely human nature for improvement. Politics just drag us and slow us down. And that's in all countries. Let's see. So Meparatus is at Darren Burke. I would say it's actually easiest to buy and not look for years. Watching the charts every 5 minutes is hard on the mental status. And you know what? So Meparatus and Darren, I'm so glad you both are having this conversation. And yes to the hiking. I'm a huge hiker. Like huge hiker. Like huge go in the middle of nowhere hiking. Like I can tell you that is my big thing that I love doing. I love hiking to get away. It doesn't matter where it is. I love hiking. But yeah, it is. It's sometimes super important just to get away. It is sometimes super important to just go and do something totally different. All right? To get out. You know, you don't always want to be caught up in stuff. All right? And so that's why, like, some of the things that, like, I've been wanting to do is I wanted to get back out here. I wanted to get back out in Colorado. You know, start exploring some of these peaks, man. Start going to some of these places here that, like, few people go to. I mean, no, people go to Mount Yale. I'm not saying that people haven't gone to Mount Yale, but I'm saying not many people travel here. Not many people go way far out. You know what I mean? So yeah, make sure it's healthy. Make sure you're not watching the charts every 5 minutes. And this isn't advice on a financial sense. This is like mental sense. Like, you don't want to get burnt out with stuff. Like, it is crazy. You want to make sure you go out there, explore life, explore these little, like, creeks, explore these little caves. I mean, yeah, this one looks a little dried up right now, but, you know, hey, maybe when the snow's up here and it melts, you've got a nice little lake to hike out on. But, you know, all right, so sorry about that. Let's get back to the comments. JW says you can hike to Ohio and shovel snow. No, I am not going to be hiking to Ohio to shovel snow. I moved out of that area just so that I could not deal with the snow anymore. That's why I like going to Colorado and places like that. I go to explore and then I leave and go back home where it's warm. Let's see. Barno says, nope, Ukraine is fine. Some weeks talk about it and it burns out, I would guess. And that's kind of what I'm worried about too, is the whole Ukraine thing, is that political too? Is that political pressure? We've got a couple like really close fans to the channel that love, that actually are from Russia, and they talk about it. So, I mean, seriously, it's a concern for everyone just because we don't need to be doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? It is. It's just really, really interesting. Jay Martyr chimes in, I know we can't predict prices, but what's your thought about XLOM after regulation and institutions get the green light, 401k, pensions? Remember, once the institutions get the green light, it's the hedge funds that are going to pump the markets. Once that happens, it's over. I mean, it is over, because price-wise, it's going to be insane. The money that's in the market right now is without regulation. That's without big industries putting money into crypto. There is so much money. So much money. And Diego, I like what your idea is too. I like Diego's idea. Let's see. Darren says, don't watch Missing 411. It'll have you stop hiking. Darren, no, I go by myself. I'm gonna bring my son with, but I go way out there and I go by myself, and I'm pretty well versed in this stuff, and I'm in extremely good shape. And if I do, I usually travel with my dog, and my dog is a beast. So she does not let anything happen to me with bears or mountain lions and stuff like that. But yeah, it is. It's important to not always be tied into crypto 24/7. That is huge. All right. Definitely huge. Let's see. Back to the questions here. Trigger Bandit says, I think Let's Go Brandon has let Ukraine down. They burn the evidence illegal doing. It's just, someone needs to step in and help and to back them up. I mean, politically, militarily, more need to get involved, because I don't like that. I don't like the idea. I wasn't a big fan of the whole Crimea thing either, obviously. This is even worse, because now we're talking an even larger scale. I mean, it is bad. It is just bad. Jay Dunn, give me 1 second, guys. Let me just get a quick thing of water here. Jay Dunn says, the XRP court decision is the most important thing in crypto. XRP gets its clarity, and then we'll give the green light for its partnerships. I feel this gives XLM clarity too, and that's another thing, right? So Jay Dunn, we've got a bunch of things, right? For crypto, okay, we actually have several things, and let's do this. Let's go to the board here, all right, and kind of one of the things that we want to talk about. What is one of the big things? We talk about taxes. Yeah, taxes are huge. We have zero regulation in the United States on taxes for crypto. I think it's true. We have zero laws, right? Regarding, I mean, any sort of precedents, right? I mean, that are really applicable. And I'm talking about laws like, what about businesses? What about businesses run on the blockchain? How does it work with lawsuits regarding businesses on the blockchain? Are the laws regarding states, right? Are there going to be some states that don't allow businesses on the blockchain because it kind of goes around their state tax law? We don't know this because we don't even have federal tax laws yet to filter down into state, to filter down into now, like even criminally speaking. It's going to be all just precedent is going to have to be set with all this. I mean, that is a huge, huge thing that we all have to think about. So yeah, the XRP court decision is one thing, but there's so many more pieces about this. Let's see. So Diego says, if you're hiking South America, take a trip to South Chile. Beautiful ranges out there. Beautiful ranges out that way. And like, from what I've heard, just great people, like a lot of remote villages along some of these hiking trails down there. So I have heard about that. I love that kind of stuff. Let's see. So Stefan says, is it just me or did all the news about banning crypto release around the same time? Feels like an agenda to pull down the prices. And Stefan, that's kind of my point. My point that I've seen lately is that a lot of the news out there has been all bearish about the same things. I mean, and even Danelle Dixon, when she was talking in Meridian, even when she talked in her most recent interview, said there is just some headwinds that we have to tackle. There are going to be headwinds, and part of them is we don't have tax law. We don't have laws setting precedent regarding criminality regarding this stuff. I mean, this is like new, like when the internet was new. I mean, that's where we're at right now. I mean, tie this in, right? So when the internet was first launching, there wasn't like that technology. We at least have that technology where we all can communicate about this now, right? But think about when the internet was first launched, they had no idea how to tackle any sort of crimes on the internet. Plagiarism, right? Theft of design wasn't done on there. Stalking laws weren't applied to the internet. Doxing, right? I mean, like none of that stuff was on the books. So, I mean, it was the Wild West when the internet first came out. This is our generation's internet, right? This is our generation, or I'm sorry, our time period. It's not our generation. My fault on that, everyone. This is our time period's internet because we have no guidance regarding any of this. Some countries are starting to give out guidance, and my shout outs there. You know, and Ben, I'm going to ask you something about Boris real quick here, all right? So just give me a second here, Ben, and I'm going to get to your comment too. Barno chimes in, could tell you more about green bonds and Liberty coming to Stellar. There's so much there. You could easily see backing too. You could see this the backing of these cryptos to precious metals. You could see there's a lot that you could see being done with this. Ben R chimes in, with XLM having a tiny market cap compared to the big boys, with some good news in media output, a 10 to 20x doesn't seem too optimistic. No, it's not. It's not far-fetched at all, Ben. It's really not, right? I mean, Stellar has been the laggard, gosh, for like the whole time. All right? My only concern is how long do we have to wait in this delay, right? And not me, like my money concern. I'm more talking about, like, do people lose interest because of how long this is taking? I mean, that's kind of something. Think when people got into stocks, right, in 2020, you know, with all the printed money, 2021, all that stuff, right? When people were, like, loving the hitting it big. They were loving the short squeeze plays, the GameStop plays, the AMCs, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then people moved to crypto, bumping on Doge and SHIB and, you know, like all this stuff. So, I mean, like, the longer that something gets pushed out, that people will just lose interest. That is just natural. That is just very, very natural on it. So that's just my concern. Like I said, and not my concern for me where I'll lose interest. No worries. I'm going to keep interest. I'm going to keep interest. I'm going to keep following all these stories. I'm more talking about just the public in general. Just the public in general. And just want to let everyone know, we're going to go till 5:45 Eastern Standard Time today, just so that I can make sure I do dinner, because I don't just do crypto. Like, I don't know if you guys caught that conversation earlier. Apparently, I'm supposed to know about every story, every angle, everything out there. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I do have a life too. Like I said, I spent all day yesterday working on my truck. A lot of fun. But anyways, back to the comments. And Ben, let me know about this. What about Boris? Boris now is in trouble with the police. I don't know if they pressed charges on him or if they got permission to look at pressing charges on him because of breaking his laws regarding the lockdowns, the lockdown status laws. That's huge, again, because now, again, we go back to we don't have precedent, right? And this is the problem for everything that's happening in the globe right now, okay? Everything that's happening in the globe, and let's go to the interesting picture one here that's got South Canada and Quebec. That tells you how nice and old this one is. But let's look at this. Because of all that stuff that's going on, right? The political issues right now. I mean, think what's happening in the UK right now. They're going to start dealing with laws regarding constitutionality. Right? Constitutionality, sorry, I'm not the best writer. Constitutionality of what's happened, you know, with Boris. Once that precedent is set, that precedent could easily be set over or come over here to the United States. We had plenty of politicians out here that had lockdowns enacted. They had laws and all these things done. And then they themselves were out there at parties. They themselves were out flying. They themselves were out hanging out, drinking at night. They were at restaurants open while we weren't allowed to go out. All the people out there in California know about that. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is out there having lavish dinners while, guess what? All of California is on lockdown, not allowed to go out to eat. And he's still having dinners. So that's what the UK is dealing with right now, is the police are looking at Boris for that. This is big, big news because, again, this is precedent. This is precedent about control. This is all tied in. Everything right now is all tied in because crypto isn't controlled. It's not regulated. Very few places around the world have a grasp on it. This is really, really big. So yeah, Ben, let me know what your thoughts are on Boris. I'm really kind of curious on that about like the police action against him, looking at him for pressing charges. I'm very, very curious. The Crystal Matrix says, you are knocking on the door of Nasera now. We need a new system of tax along with a new governance that comes with a new system of finance. A lot of things, Crystal Matrix, I got to be honest with you. My personal opinion is a lot of systems we have, legacy systems in the United States are just, they're so far outdated. And because they're legacy, they hold everything back. Our tax laws are so archaic. Our political systems are archaic. So many things are archaic. And what's up, Simon? How are you doing? Sorry about that. So yeah, that is part of the issue. Is that the tax law that we have set up, it's not even there yet, right? We've gotten some general guidance, but we haven't gotten the actual like tax laws. You know, what about the business laws too, right? We haven't seen those yet. All right. So for the money that goes into the markets right now, all right. So for the money we're looking at, the money that's sitting on the sidelines, all right. That delay, right? Because we don't have clarity on taxes, because we don't have clarity on laws or precedent law with the XRP lawsuit, we can easily see that push the window of this current phase out. You know, in the U.S. does rule a large chunk of the market, A, because of the narratives of the FANG companies, and B, because of the amount of fiat that the U.S. has pumped and is playing in the markets right now. If they now delay this because of November, I got November up here on the corner. If they delay this with November, that will create people just not being interested. Big players will stay to the side because if they're like, hey, now if nothing's getting done till the election to see what way we're going to swing here, the longer we delay, it costs more money. And that's what we were talking about earlier in the stream. Because we don't have full clarity on the tax situation, all right? Because we don't have any precedent of laws set. This just keeps pushing and pushing that window further out. And the problem is, though, is it costs us money. It costs us, it costs developers, all these projects money, right? Because my big thing is this, is if you are going to be investing a lot of money into the chain, are you going to do it now? We don't know what Biden's executive order is. We just know it could come out in February. But I know people are going to wait, you know? And Barno, yes, definitely. See ya. Thank you very much for chiming in on this one, Barno. But yeah, I mean, this is all stuff that's tied in together. And this is all stuff that is why the market is doing exactly what it's doing. Why we're not getting a separation. Why we're just seeing this low volume that we've seen here, obviously, for the last, 6 months, 7 months? It's because we don't have the regulations. You know, we have different countries around the world that are just tackling crypto in different ways. And that's all part of the problem. I mean, that's a huge part of the problem, right? I mean, you know, you've got always bad news from Russia regarding crypto. Same thing with China. I already got Burma covered. I already got your back, Myanmar. All right, I got you. You know, we got the U.S. executive action going on over here, right? We got a bunch of bannings in West Africa. We got some people that are pro and negative over here in South America. You know, we also got, for people out there that were watching earlier, beautiful mountains in the Chile region. Yes, beautiful mountains. We talked about that. But that's my thing, is the longer and the more delays that we have, that's what causes the markets to really choke. Because think about this, any law that's passed tomorrow, we're all going to find ways to get around it if we don't like it. Whether it's by taxes, legality, criminal code. I mean, you're going to find ways to get around it, right? The legal system will get chomped up. I mean, Biden's executive order reaches too far. Guess what? They're going to put it into court and they're going to tie it up. They've tied up some of these orders regarding pandemic responses. It's the same concept. So that's the problem. The more you delay these orders, the more you delay these regs and all that, that's what drains the market. That's what pushes money on the sidelines out of crypto and into traditional equities. It pushes that money into real estate. It will push that money into energy. It's going to push that money into other sectors that already have the guidance. All right, traditional sectors. Because again, we keep delaying this right now. We're going to be waiting a while. I mean, and that's what we're waiting right now. But hey, you know, this is out here to February. If Biden doesn't have executive action by then, all right, well, here's March. You know, if you don't hear much by March, well, then what? And in Elijah Israel, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you chiming in. Here's November. Here's what that looks like. I mean, it's you could very easily see the market just waiting, right? Just this delay is the worst thing that could happen. Seriously, it is. It is the worst thing. Because even when India bans crypto, even when China bans crypto, what did the crypto miners do? They just went to a new country, right? Business still went on. Okay, yeah, so they had to lose some money moving their business. But then guess what? They were able to fire it back up. And that's my point, right? So if you make a law that you're not into, you'll find ways around it. You know, that's just how it is. So my friends in Europe right now, a big thing we talk about is the green pass. For my friends in Europe that don't like the green pass, guess what they're doing? They're going to places that don't check. You know, and Ben, thank you for replying for that. I really appreciate that because, yeah, I want to know too. I'm going to definitely be paying attention to that, Ben. I am definitely, because that sets a precedent. If they go after Boris that way, they will start taking that same concept and they will start taking politicians down around the world with that same concept. So as much as the UK has been, I mean, fighting with a lot of like political, I mean, just like everywhere in the world is, let's be honest here. That is a big precedent for police versus politics in the world with the UK right now. So that is a huge, huge topic that I am following. And Ron Delaney says, what's tomorrow? We're talking about the UK, Boris Johnson. The police are investigating him, and they're investigating him regarding breaking laws during a pandemic lockdown, okay? And basically the concept is this. It's rules for thee, but not for me. All right, so the elites have their rules and the rest of us peasants can't. All right, it was the same thing. Gavin Newsom out in California did the same thing. Gavin Newsom shut down all the restaurants in California, but when his friends were in town, they've got pictures, they've got video, they've got audio, they've got tons of proof of this guy opening up restaurants with his friends. So the whole idea is you have now a country that could do that. I mean, that is huge. And Simon, yeah, same thing. Australia and South Wales, exactly. Yeah, no problem, Ron. No problem with that. And that's why we got the community here to help each other out, and that's why we do the live streams. I was going to do a lot of this into a story, but then I was just like, you know what? I mean, I just kind of wanted to do it as a live stream just to share it with y'all. But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of something that we're all wondering about. Because of all these delays, because of regulations, because of political controls, because of more countries banning crypto, all right? Because Biden's executive order, which we don't know if it's going to be good or bad for crypto, or if it's going to be done in February, or if it's going to be delayed, and the global turmoil taking focus, right? Will global turmoil, sorry about that, let me get this out of here. Will global turmoil take the focus away from crypto? There we go. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to move this over just a little bit. There we go. All right. I don't know where the hell my damn enter button is. I got to figure this thing out still, but pretty cool. But yeah, so that's the idea. That's what we have been talking about, you know? Let's see. Ben R. chimes in. Why in the middle of a lockdown would they all sit out on a garden with windows surrounding him, cameras everywhere, social media, all eyes on him? I don't get why he would risk it or be so stupid. But Ben, this is all the politicians. Like, Ben, this is everyone. The big thing with Boris, all right, and the reason why it's big with Boris is because, I mean, he's the highest man on the totem pole that people will be going after, like so far, regarding these COVID restrictions and these lockdown rules. I mean, think about it. Do I have any fans here right now that are from Minnesota, or not Minnesota, Michigan? Look at what the Michigan governor did. They banned like everything. I mean, it's crazy. So there was a huge outreach. Gavin Newsom in California got caught how many times breaking COVID protocol? What about my New York fans out there? Cuomo got busted. How many times did they catch Como and his family breaking the protocols that they put in place? They broke laws that they released, rules for thee, but not for me, right? That's kind of what we're talking about here. So Ron Delaney says, I feel the ISO 20022 will dominate the space, in my opinion. And I do. I totally agree with you regarding the ISO coins. Totally agree with you regarding that. And I'm still trying to get this unlocked. What a pain in the butt right now. Sorry about that. Yeah. All right, let's just back this up one more time here. All right. Otherwise, I'm going to give up on this stupid one right here. But no, that's kind of the big things we've been talking about. The country's banning crypto, Biden's executive order, stuff like that. TYO saying, howdy, how's it going? And for everyone out there, like I said, this was just an impromptu live stream. Going to be ending at 5:45. I got to start making dinner for the family and for the dogs. But yeah, I'm with you on that too, Ron. I do. I think the ISO coins will dominate. But again, Ron, what did we talk about? We talking about these coins, right? These tokens that we're all fans of. ISO might not be going live at November. I've been seeing now reports of people pushing it out to 2023 in November and doing a switch flip. I mean, like, do you see what I'm saying? And that's kind of the problem. So even if it's earliest, if it were at November of 2022, where they're like, hey, look, we seriously did get everything done in time, that's a big window. That goes, again, to the election window. That just keeps pushing things out. And that's the big problem that all of us out there are having. We're tired of this being pushed out. We're tired of the window being pushed. We just give us clarity. You're not going to make laws right the first time, so you might as well make them and then give us chances to do revisions. It's true. Think about it. What laws really have been the same for hundreds of years, for 50 years, for 20 years, for 10 years? No, they've all been changing, especially around things regarding technology. Especially regarding technology and especially regarding things that don't have precedent. That is just how it is. So, no, real interesting stuff out there. Very, very interesting to see that, yes, ISO stuff is going to be big. I think, my personal opinion is that ISO is your safest bet out there. All right? I really do. ISO is going to be your safest best bet out there. The problem is if these factors keep pushing the window out, we're going to start looking at our buy targets being further and further down here. You could easily see that. You could easily see it retesting this last time when it got to 13 and 12. Right? If we push this window further out, right? This is where we're at right here on a visual. If we push this time frame out on this current trajectory right now, you could without any positive news, without anything crazy cool going on, you could easily see that as we push this down, we could easily push more and more negative resistance. Because a lot of people are going to wait on the U.S. A lot of people are going to piggyback on what the U.S. does, and right, instead of don't reinvent the wheel, no, they'll just copy what the U.S. did and enact that in law. You know, Diego Sanchez chimes in, down with the corruption, blockchain will solve a lot of problems, and crypto will solve the monetary and economical part of the puzzle. XLM is a good project and a real usage. And Diego, you're totally right. And that's kind of part of what, we talked about the delay, right? So think about this, right? We talk about this stellar value delay being, and the longer you delay things, the more it costs you money, right? It's the same thing when you're building a house. It's the same thing when you're building a race car. It's the same thing when you're building a boat. The more delays you have because of X, Y, and Z, the more it just costs you money. My question is this. We learned when the pandemic happened, okay? When the pandemic struck the world, all of us out there knew, all right, sports were shut down, gambling was shut down, casinos were shut down. People had to bet in something. So what did they bet in? They bet in the stock market. They bet in crypto, right? That's where a lot of gamblers started doing it when markets were shut down. And that did. It brought a lot of money and a lot of awareness to crypto. But so now if crypto starts getting cold, not because it's a bad concept, not because it's a bad project, but because for political reasons we're pushing it out, because of turmoil reasons we're pushing it out, all these people that would love to put the money in crypto, where are they going to go? They're not going to put their money on the sidelines and just wait. A bunch of them are going to go, wait a minute, maybe I'll go to see what stock squeeze is, right? If there's a GameStop squeeze or something, right? Or maybe AMC is pumping, like I'm going to rock that. I don't know. But we know money's not going to sit on the sidelines because we learned it during the pandemic when people who like to put money in markets, gambling and all that, right? The economics like that, they do not stop. They just find different ways to do it. All right, they do. They just sound like different ways to do it. Okay, so this slowdown here, will this drive more investments into real estate? Real estate's been still hot. Where I live, real estate has been crazy hot. You know, and that's huge. And Trigger Bandit chimes in. Probably that's why Stellar hasn't marketed yet. They know a delay is inevitable. Well, and that's what I brought up earlier, and that's what the premise of what started this whole thing was when the Fed released their paper out. Stellar also had theirs, and it was done very simultaneously. Right? I mean, it was. The timing was right there. All right? Sorry, I'm just trying to plug my laptop in. I got started so quick I didn't realize I didn't have my laptop plugged in. So, but yeah, there was. Both of them were published very soon. The Fed had their CBDC paper, and Stellar published theirs really quickly. Ron Delaney says, sounds like McAfee. Yeah, exactly. Yes, and you spelled that. I do believe that's right. Trigger Bandit says it's probably why Stellar hasn't marketed. Yeah, seriously, why would you want to put marketing into something if you don't even know? Because think Stellar's been working with political parties, not just the Biden, but previous administrations too. Stellar's been working with them. So think about that. They know the writing's been on the wall. Danelle Dixon's even said it herself that there are going to be some headwinds. The headwinds regarding regulation, the headwinds regarding taxation, stuff like that. You know, and Crystal Matrix chimes in, most excellent projects seem to be on a 3-year schedule or plan. Yeah, most of them are way out there. I mean, way out there. You know, that's what we're thinking. And that's kind of what my thing is so if money isn't going to be put in this sector at such a high rate as we saw over the last year, where's that money going to go? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still going to be investing in this sector. I love this sector. It just, for me, it just keeps pushing my window out. Which is okay. It's not a big deal because there's other sectors out there that, you know, you can make money on. But it's just the concept that what does it do to this? Does it lose interest in here? I mean, obviously, we know what happened in early 2021, right? That the first half of 2021 was like crazy for crypto. Do we quiet down? Not in a bear market, but we're on a pause. We're just like, we don't know what's going on. Like, the world doesn't even know what's going on. So it's got me wondering here. Ben R says, that's what I think with the marketing. Danelle Dixon always talks about 2025 is she knows the few years is going to be bear. And that's the other thing, too, because if they burn most of their lumens by 2025, that pressure, right, that Stellar puts on the market, which isn't that big when you look at it, but the pressure that they put on the market by using lumens for their projects, you know, if they spend most of it, that goes away, too. You know, they wanted to spend a lot quick. And just let the project go and let the project happen. There was a lot that they wanted to do on a quicker scale. So yeah. Trigger Bandit says Stellar logo in Ukraine. Hopefully not. Well, hopefully not too. So it has come to that time. It is 5:45. I wanted to say thank you to everyone that has participated in the live stream. Super thank you to all the fans, the subs, the members out there. I really appreciate it. I really do. So I'm going to start shutting it down. If you guys, seriously, thank you again for everything. Don't forget, we do have a Discord channel. I bump in there every once in a while. I even kind of post you what kind of music I'm listening to as I'm editing videos. It's kind of like a cool look into, like, I guess, my background too. If you're looking for me on Discord, my handle is Mr. Nasty, and you will see a picture that says, but did you die? And that is because when you hang out with me, you will have a bunch of fun. You will have a messed up ass time. But did you die? But did you die, right? So, yep, tons of ways we can hang out, tons of ways we can get together. I really super appreciated this. Ben, yes, have a good night, sir. And thank you again, Ben, for everything. I'm getting to learn how to use the sketch pad, so I'm getting better and better at the drawing and stuff like that. Ron Delaney says, good job. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. The good job also comes from the fans, as you guys are a huge part of the stream. So, Klaus, Family Hobbies and Cards. This is where I am going to be sometime in April. I am going to unplug completely from the world and get lost in the mountains and get lost and go way the F word up here because this is what I love.